Is it recording? Yes, it is. I'm gonna have to chop it off. So we're here with Coach Jessica, and we're going to be talking about the best food choices for each macro category, because a theme that we have been seeing reoccurring lately, especially with summertime and all of the, eating out and cookouts and barbecues and stuff like that, is just the fact that a lot of people are taking advantage of the fact that they're tracking macros to include all of their favorite foods all the time. And the results are stalling. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how to approach each phase. We're going to talk about what we would do if we were on a fat loss, and so on and so forth. So, Coach Jessica, what do you think has been the biggest struggle that you've been seeing so far since you started with most of the girls, like when it comes to macro tracking, when it comes to choosing the best food choices?
So I think the biggest struggle at the moment is the choices you're making when you're out and on the weekends especially as well. So I feel like Monday to Friday, people are really smashing it. And then it comes to the weekend and there's a social event or there's a wedding or whatever it is. Yeah. And it's like, you kind of forget that you might be in a fat loss phase or whatever. And that doesn't stop on the weekends. Like there's that joke. We say, oh, calories don't count on the weekend. I'm sorry, they unfortunately do. So, coming up against those sorts of boundaries within yourself I think is going to be really beneficial for people to just be a little bit more prepared and have a better idea about what choices you can make. Because you can still eat out and eat healthy, and you can still socialize and hit your goals and everything like that. So yeah, it'd be good to have a chat about that.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think the first thing that it's important for people to understand is the acceptance of the phase they're in, right?
Yeah.
There's so much stuff going on social media about, oh, you can eat anything and lose weight. You can, nobody should be on 1200 calories. There's like this blank statements that doesn't necessarily apply for everybody. And can you eat whatever you want and lose weight and still be in fat loss as long as you're in a calorie deficit? Yes. But is it what we recommend? No, because there are many, if you're not choosing your foods wisely, chances are that you might not even be in the calorie deficit that you need to be to start with. And you're not going to be fueling your body properly. And we're not going to be doing our job of, keeping you healthy, helping you get healthier and maintain a healthy relationship with food and metabolism over time. So
absolutely,
we created the program in phases exactly because each phase serves a purpose. Whenever you're in a maintenance phase or reverse diet or in a build, you have a little bit more flexibility because you have a bigger budget. But when in fat loss, your goal is to just be as on point as you can to finish that phase as soon as you can, get it out of it. I don't know about you, but I don't enjoy being on fat loss. I don't enjoy eating very little.
No, same. I'm not a very good hungry person. I really do. One thing I do enjoy about being on the fat loss, though, I don't know if this is just me, but I actually really enjoy like the challenge of seeing how much food can I eat in exchange of as few calories as possible. Like I try and volume eat as much as I can. So I'm talking I might have some rice, but I will put loads of vegetables in that rice. Or I might have some pasta, but I will load that pasta with onions and mushrooms and peppers, and I will bulk that up. And I've eaten meals before where I've been like, this is 400 calories. I can't believe it's 400 calories. It's ginormous. So I love the challenge of it, but the actual feeling of being hungry, no one's going to say they like that. Like that's not fun. So let's for example, let's talk about, everyone knows what a Big Mac is. If I want to be in a calorie deficit, I need to be on about 1600 calories. A Big Mac meal with chips, like fries, and a Coke, that is about 1400 calories, maybe more, depending if you supersize it in the US. We don't have that option here in the UK. But I could, in fat loss, I could eat a Big Mac meal every day and still lose weight, that is all that I could eat. Would anyone recommend that? Would anyone in their right minds want to do that? Like, my sleep, my digestion, my hunger levels, my skin, you know, like that is, yeah, theoretically you could do that. But would you want it?
Would you
Why?
want it?
Why would you want that? You know?
Yeah, because the goal also when you're thinking about hitting your macros and hitting your calories is not just about the numbers, but what exactly, how you're nourishing your body and how are you going to feel afterwards, right?
Absolutely.
What are those choices going to make you feel? How is going, like those choices are going to make you feel. So I can eat the whole entire day worth of, you know, chips and packaged foods and processed foods that will give me, like, that will help me hit my targets in theory. And we're going to talk about why in a bit. But I'm probably going to be bloated AF. I'm probably going to be hungry AF. I'm probably going to be, you know, not feeling super well. It's not going to support my goals in the gym. I'm not going to be strong as I wanted. I'm not going to be as energized. And it's just not a good, healthy option. So even if you're not eating the Big Mac, even if you're choosing healthy options, healthy snacks, or healthy whatever packaged foods you're choosing, you're still not giving your body what it needs. You're still not making the best food choices. And I love what you said about volume food. That's what I like to do too, like big stir fries, or like obviously with like a little bit of olive oil and a lot of rice, a little bit of rice, a lot of chicken, a lot of veggies, mix it all up and make that big thing. And you can find skinny condiments. You can find, you know, if you season it well, damn, it tastes so good.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I think people certainly forget or overlook is like the flavor is not really in it, you know, you've got like cayenne pepper and paprika and pepper, or like, you know, soy sauces, you know, lemongrass, whatever your taste buds are. Like, I love Asian food. So for me, it's quite lucky. Lemongrass, ginger, chili. And I'm like, this is banging. I love it.
Yeah,
that's my palate, like my personal preference. But whatever your preferences are, you know, you can find flavors that will like set your taste buds on fire and be like, this is a really delicious meal. And if you're happy with what you've eaten, that your brain will be like, I've eaten a nice, healthy meal that I've enjoyed, and your stomach will then become full, like all the hormones that get released when we eat, because it's more than just what we are eating and putting in our mouth. It's like how your body actually responds to this. And I think we'll probably get a bit deep. We won't go into this too much, but the whole, like, you know, pre-packaged and the treat foods, okay, they stimulate a dopamine response, which really isn't what you want when you're eating food. That's an unhealthy hormone to have being released when you are eating, because that's your reward hormone, right?
Yep.
So you think, oh, I've been good today, I can eat a chocolate bar, and then you eat the chocolate bar, and then your dopamine's released in it. But anyway, we're good. We're digressing. So it's probably a bit too heavy for like this type of conversation, but it all links in. Like, there's a reason why we say, you know, don't eat the chips, or, you know, stay away from French fries, whatever. It's because it's a whole bigger picture that's going on.
Exactly. Those foods are literally engineered to make you eat more. So, and that links it well, actually, to out of sight, out of mind, which is something that we wanted to talk about. Like, for a period of time, it's actually a good thing for you to focus on getting the bulk of your food, the bulk of your diet, most days of the week, from vegetables, from whole food sources, from, you know, lean meats, and avoid the processed foods, avoid bringing the chips home, avoid having those snacks ready like whenever you want, because chances are your willpower at the end of each day is going to be very, very low. It's going to be hard to just like stick to a smaller portion. Could you do that? Yes, but should you? Because the more you and I'm not a big fan of restrictive diets, but one thing that those restrictive black and white diets does is teach you, okay, eat this, do not eat that. And when you don't eat certain foods for a period of time, when you restrict yourself from certain foods, your palate changes. your taste buds adapt to
Absolutely.
you're eating, the whole food sources that you're eating. So you get used to those flavors. And
Yeah.
funny story, not funny, but I love chocolate. Chocolate is my thing. And I eat chocolate pretty much every day. However, I made a promise to not eat chocolate until my daughter is born, because of the thing that we had, like with the ultrasound, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, if she's well and healthy, I'm not gonna eat chocolate until she's born. And I'm sticking to my promise.
Yeah, you.
And it's
But like, don't you
it's
feel a
clear.
reward in yourself though? Don't you feel like, I'm so glad I'm doing this? Is it not like,
You know what? In the beginning, because I was so used to eating chocolate every day, I kind of missed it a little bit. I'm like, damn, it's going to be really hard. Then after like a week or two, I don't even think about chocolate anymore, because it's not even an option. I don't even bring home, because I know that I won't eat it, or I should not eat it, or I can't eat it, right? And I don't see it every day. I don't smell it every day. I don't think about chocolate any, like, I know that I have this deadline. Okay, when she's born, ready, like healthy, I'm gonna have my chocolate. That's fine. But I don't think about it every day. I don't like, my taste buds adapted to not having chocolate every day. And the same thing with other things, right? I don't buy chips and just leave it there.
Yeah.
Available. I'll buy chips whenever I have somebody over and we're, sharing a guacamole or something. But I don't leave room for willpower.
Yeah, I agree. Because as well, if you are on a fat loss phase and you are, you're one of these people that wants to have the chips or the chocolate or whatever, if it's in your house, you've then got that agonizing sort of, oh, I want to eat it, but I can't. And then depending on how you are with your willpower, I mean, if you've got willpower to resist, good on you. I just know that I do not, and a lot of people also do not have this. Whereas if you do not have the physical option to have that late night snack of whatever it is that you're having, and there is only chicken and vegetables in the fridge, you're probably going to be like, okay, I'll just go to bed. Like,
I think out of sight, out of mind, and you're going to be prepping your taste buds and your palates, adapting to the real taste of like real food, which sometimes we think, oh, I eat healthy, but you're still just relying on packaged foods most of the time. You're still just relying on, you're not really adapted to choosing like those vegetables, those lean meats and things like that. And it comes down, it also ties into understanding the phase that you're in, right? Okay, I'm on fat loss. I want to reach this goal. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. But I digress because I forgot what I was going to say. Great pregnant brain. Damn it. Okay. Not every meal is going to be a restaurant experience.
Exactly.
You can make your food taste really good. You can make a simple chicken breast with veggies and rice taste fantastic. Yes. But I think like having a structure to at least throughout the week and trying to keep that same structure on the weekends is going to be more beneficial for you if you're only constantly looking for, the best recipes and trying to make every meal a super fancy meal, a super experienced meal.
Yeah.
Because you're just overcomplicating.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder for you to stick to something that's complicated rather than simple. And you're going to burn yourself to the ground trying to find all these different recipes. Think about this complicated 17 things for you to check on MyFitnessPal. You know what I mean?
I think as well, I haven't found it with the women on this program, but certainly people that I've worked with in the past, they're like, oh, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to eat this healthy cake. And they have or whatever. And they're like, I've got this really healthy chocolate pudding recipe. And I'm like, you can eat the chocolate pudding all you want, but if you're not eating, your whole foods for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, this is irrelevant, So it's like, okay, what is my building blocks for this? Okay. And then what is the cherry on the top? The cherry on the top is the healthy cake, and they're often not even that healthy. They're normally like
Yeah.
protein powder and egg and something instead of like butter and sugar and whatever, which yes, that's a better choice, but it will still be 200 calories instead of 300 calories, for example. And if you're on a smaller calorie budget, forget
You
the
might
cake.
as well just
Like,
not have it.
yeah, just forget it. Like, just forget it.
Forget it.
You know,
Just have like a dark chocolate, a piece of dark chocolate, and you're better off.
yeah, like, you know, three, and really as well, like 3 nutritious meals a day in a slight deficit should not leave you starving. So if you,
No.
there's going to be a little bit of hunger, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is fat loss, and that is
Yep.
that is, and you have to
That's
accept
part
that.
of the game. Part of the game.
Yeah, that is a non-negotiable. There is going to be a slight hunger,
Yeah.
but to be, you know, torturing yourself at the end of the day because you're starving, that shouldn't be
That
part
should
of
be
it.
the case. If you're having like 3 square meals or like 4 or like 3 square meals and like a really good post-workout shake or something like that, filled with good foods like whole foods, you should not be starving. You should
No,
not be starving.
absolutely.
Even
So, like,
if you're on a lower calorie budget, yes, you finish your meal and you feel like, okay, I could have eaten more, but you're
but
not
that is the
starving.
feeling of,
Yeah.
you've hit the nail on the head there. That's the feeling of fat
Yes.
loss. It's like, I've eaten my meal. Could I have more? Yes, but I'm on fat loss. So I'm going to feel slightly hungry. Like, you know, at certain points of the day, maybe at the end of the day, you're not on fat loss. You know, if you're feeling absolutely stuffed, you might not be on fat loss because your body is like, you've eaten too much food. That is literally, without even tracking or knowing anything.
Yeah.
If you are feeling stuffed and you're like, I can't move, then you're not on fat loss. Your
Yeah,
body knows how much it needs to maintain. Your body knows how much it needs to build, and it also knows how much it needs to lose.
Yeah.
So,
and the first signal that, okay, this fat loss thing is working is you're feeling a little bit hungry throughout the day, right? That's a normal feeling because you're eating less than you need in order to burn that fat. So that's normal.
absolutely.
But another benefit of having mostly like whole foods, and by whole foods, we mean, if you don't know what a whole food means, it's just one ingredient foods. So it's easy for you to identify. A potato is just a potato. Like there's no ingredient. Like,
there's no ingredients. The ingredient is it came out of the ground.
Yeah. So chicken breast, that's the ingredient, right?
Like, did you pick it? Did you kill it? No offense, vegetarians. Did you, you know, that sort of thing? Like,
exactly.
What is it? It's one ingredient, you know. So like,
does it have a face and it comes from the ground?
yeah, exactly. But like, you know, packaged like snacks and stuff, they may be low calorie and they do have a place. I'm not going to say they don't have a place in your diet, but if that makes up, you know, the most of your diet and you're on fat loss, you are going to struggle, and it's going to be like, let's make some better choices around what we're eating.
Yeah. And even like, oh, how about whey protein? How about protein powder? Big fan of protein powder, big fan of ready to drink protein shakes, but how can you make it in a way that fills you up more? Because if you drink like that premium protein or I forgot the name of the other one, but whatever protein shake, just like plain, you're going to feel, even though it gives you like 30 grams of protein, you're still going to feel hungry afterwards. Which is, you know, how can you make that bulkier? How can you make that fill you up more? Maybe add a piece of fruit to that shake. Maybe add, you know, a fat source to that shake, a peanut butter or a nuts or chia seeds or something like that to that shake, a handful of spinach. So that's bulkier and takes longer to be digested and fills you up a little bit more. So don't just have like that.
If you just have a glass of milk, essentially,
exactly,
that is not going to fill you up. And like, they're great and they do have a place, but it's not, again, if we're on fat loss, we need to be looking at volume and how can I make this thing bigger for less calories,
to fill you up so you're not feeling super hungry afterwards. So it takes longer for your body to digest. So that's the idea of whole food. So if you have the option, if I have the option whenever on fat loss, between 30 grams of protein coming from a protein shake and 30 grams of protein coming from maybe eggs and egg whites or chicken breast or something like that, we'll choose the second option because it's gonna fill me up more. Right.
Exactly.
So there are certain swaps that I make when I'm on fat loss that I know it's going to work best because it's going to fill me up more. It's not going to leave me hungry. And the protein shake is an example. So if we can get 30 grams of protein out of something that I can chew, because that's the idea. If you chew, it takes
longer to
digest.
It takes longer for your body to process, takes you longer to digest. You release hormones and chemicals and stuff. When you chew, you actually release like hormones, and they go to your stomach and they say you're eating, and then that signals to your brain to say I'm full. So if we're just downing a shake, again, they do have a place and I'm a big fan, but what else are you doing in this whole picture of the day? So if you're on fat loss and you're just having a protein shake because it's got 30 grams of protein in, but then you've used up 200 or 300 calories and you're like, what am I going to do now? Then choose the egg whites and the spinach or whatever it is, something that you're going to have to chew, for example.
Exactly. Because
that's how we signal to the stomach that there's food coming, and the stomach will then tell the brain I'm full up, and then the brain will tell the stomach I'm full up, and everything. It's all this whole, So really good point there actually about that.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think. Yeah, I think
I was just going to say we can. Sorry, you carry on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we can send over to people, anyone that's sort of struggling with what is a whole food and stuff, send over like a check sheet of certain foods and everything like that. Things, better choices that you can make and whatnot, so that you get more bang for your buck at the end of the day. That's what we all want when we're on fat loss. No one wants to be hungry. No one wants to. Think, I'm really craving, and if we're full as well, it will stop the cravings of the chips and the fries and the chocolate and stuff. If we're full, we don't want to eat more. So
exactly,
really important to find that.
That's a good point. Some people are just like, they have uncontrollable cravings because they're not eating enough of the things that will diminish that craving in the first place. So whenever, people start asking about, oh, what can I eat for my sweet tooth? What can I have for my cravings? I'm craving this, I'm craving that. Before we even get to the substitute foods or the healthy version foods that you can replace the real thing, before we even get there, why are you craving so much of those foods? Are you eating enough vegetables throughout the day? Are you eating enough protein throughout the day? Are you eating enough whole foods that are satiating? When you choose your carb sources, are you going for the refined pasta, or are you going for, maybe a whole version of that, or even just loading it up with vegetables so you can get more fiber? So I think that the key there is getting a good combination of fiber and protein together in a meal.
Absolutely.
So you feel satisfied. You don't feel that intense craving throughout the day, which if you are using the out of sight, out of mind rule, that will be even easier for you. So it's all about making the process easier for you to stick to. Because if you are filling up with, like, every time you have a craving, you just act on the craving, then you're not really...
and again, it all comes back to the hormones, right? You've given in, you've now got your dopamine, and then you look right again, your body is like, I need reward, I need reward, I need reward. It makes you feel really, really good, and then you drop back down, and it is literally, it is, and that is, again, it's probably the best/worst hormone that we have, the dopamine one, because it gives us the high, and then we're back down and we're looking for that high again. And if we're finding that high from food and we're in fat loss, this is not an area that we want to be in.
We want, because it's going to make things harder. Because it's hard to say no to things when you're tired, when you're hungry, when you're, stressed out from the day. It's going to be harder. Willpower is just a finite thing that we have. It's not forever, and we don't want to rely on willpower. And also, I don't know if probably most people don't know this, but the FDA in the United States, it allows for over around 20% margin of error on food labels. So any packaged foods that you buy at the store, can have actually 20% more calories than it says on the label. So even if you are on point with your calories and you're hitting everything and it seems pretty on paper, if you're not getting results, probably you're relying too much on those packaged foods. And the more you have that, the more margin of error you're adding to your diet. It's not bad necessarily to have those foods.
Yeah. If you're relying on them.
If you're relying on them, and then on the weekends, you're relying on eyeballing portions on restaurant foods, and then you're leaving a lot of margin for error, for mistakes, and for, just, it's the numbers thing, right? Even though the numbers on the database, on MyFitnessPal might look good, it might not reflect the reality of things.
But so, for example, like if you were on 1,500 calories a day, 20% of that is what, 300? And if you were eating, so say, for example, you were eating 300 calories extra a day times 7, that's 2,100 calories extra a week. Like, so you're overeating by more than a day.
Yep.
That's like 1.5 days worth. So you might think that you're in this deficit, but actually,
you're not
even, you might not even be in maintenance at this stage,
Exactly.
So it's like, certainly when we're beginning and we're starting our journeys, I mean, there's always time to claw it back, it's never too late, but that is a huge number. That is more than like a whole day's worth of overeating, just potentially from packaged foods.
Yeah.
That are not.
That margin of error alone, not even to mention like the mistracking or untracked things that goes untracked.
We all do,
we all do,
and that's why we have our margins. Like that's why we have our 1,500 calories, for example, and that still allows for that. You put an extra spray of cooking oil in, or you forget to track the milk that you have in your coffee or whatever. It happens. We're human beings. We're not robots, right? But that 1,500 calories, or whatever the target is, we have accounted for that already. So that's why, we need to be as accurate as possible, and we need to be on the whole food train to begin with.
And those whole foods make it easier to be on point with your calories because they're easier to track. Right. Exactly. So simplicity again comes into place here because those foods are going to be easier to track. Those foods are going to be, there's no margin of error, like 100 grams of potato here and 100 grams of potato in the UK. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to have the same amount of calories and it's going to weigh the same. Now, a package of chips can leave a lot of room for error there. Then you start tracking a lot of alcohol as well. Then there's the alcohol and the drinks and the different 8 entries that there's in MyFitnessPal, and you might choose the one that best fits your.
Absolutely. I mean, we've all done that before. We've all gone, oh, there's a glass of red wine there. I'll choose the one that's 120 calories as opposed to the one that's 200 calories.
Yeah, because and then your glass of wine is like this big.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
It's I love the idea of tracking for educational purposes, and I love the idea of having that food flexibility, but don't confuse that. That comes with, earning that. You have to earn the right to have that flexibility. But first you need to understand the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are there's no running away from majority of your foods being whole foods. There's no running away from, planning your week ahead of time, planning your foods and having a stocked up fridge of choices that whenever you're tired, stressed out, whatever, those are going to be the choices that are going to run to. So instead of grabbing a bag of chips, you're going to make maybe a yogurt bowl with some berries on top with some nuts and things like that. That are going to fill you up, that are going to give you protein. It's going to give you healthy fats, good carbohydrates, fiber, vitamins, minerals, all of that your body needs to do well. So, and that comes to meal prepping, meal planning, right? So if you have those foods, like, I don't know how you do it, but I don't necessarily do the Tupperware thing, like the bodybuilding style meal prepping, like the most people see on social media. That could work. Like if you're, out and about every week, every day of the week, and you really need to have that structure that works for you to plan like all of your meals ahead and have that ready in the fridge. So you just grab and go. Perfect. But I think meal prepping is more so, okay, what works for you in the long run, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Here we optimize everything. So on Sundays, we'll cook a big batch of 2 to 3 protein sources at the same time. So we use the oven, we use the stovetop, we use the barbecue, we use the Instant Pot. All the appliances at the same time are running with different protein sources. Chicken breast. We don't eat like boiled plain chicken breast.
But you prep, yeah.
My husband seasoned it so well, and we put it in the barbecue, and it's so juicy and it's yummy. So chicken breast is on the barbecue, maybe some steak is in there as well, and then salmon in the oven, and then some ground beef on the stovetop. There I have it, big batch for the whole entire week. And then I leave it in the fridge, right? Or I freeze it. It depends on the quantity, but whatever. But 2 to 3 options there for me for lunch, for dinner. If I want to make a sandwich or something, I also have those foods. Then 2 to 3 carb sources, maybe rice and potatoes. If I'm on a fat loss, I'm probably not going to go for a refined pasta. Now I go for regular pasta, but you can have those options there. Make sure you have some oats, because those are super filling and have lots of fiber, right? The fruits also are good source of carbohydrates for you. Then 2 to 3 veggie options, meaning even if you grab like a packaged frozen vegetable thing, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Throw it in the oven or throw it in, cook it however way you want, or make it a stir fry, right? Like a quick thing there, but have your veggies, have an option of ready to eat salad, even like things like cucumbers, zucchini, like they fill you up so much.
Yeah.
And
you can eat so much.
Yes, exactly. And use seasonings and salts. Like you don't have to be afraid of salt. We need sodium.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one thing that we need to, we don't need to put like a whole thing of salt on our food every day, but give it a couple of little grinds. It's okay.
Yes.
Especially if you're working out. You are going to be
working out.
Yeah. So there's lots of girls, like women that we work with, are working hard at the moment. They are pushing. Their numbers in the gym are going up. It's so impressive. Don't be afraid to eat the salt. Like, yes, you're not going to be taking tablespoons of it on your food, but a couple of little grinds of salt on your food, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you have that structure every week, you have those things ready in your fridge, then okay, you can pre-log like lunch, you can pre-log dinner in MyFitnessPal. You can have the whole entire week ready for you. And those foods are going to support your health, is going to support your performance, is going to support your, recovery from the gym, is going to support your body composition goals. And you get so used to the taste of real food that even when you're in maintenance, even when you're in a build, you're just going to eat more of those. You're not going to go back to, not caring for what you eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, I'm in the biggest calorie budget that I've ever been, but I'm still eating just more of the same foods.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. I'm exactly the same. I'm on a reverse diet at the moment. I'm like, okay, what can I eat more? And I'm like, I'm just going to eat more of what I've already ate before. I'm just going to have bigger meals. Like, I'm not like, I'm going to eat chocolate bars now. I mean, I'd love to, but it's not smart,
It's
not. I want to fuel my body, if I want to support my recovery, if I want to, reach my recomposition goals, it's not about just filling, it's not just about filling the calorie chart. It's about, having all the right pieces. And like, if I can eat more whole fibrous foods, my training is going to go up, which means 100%. I'm going to get stronger, which means I'm going to have more muscle, which means in the end, the end goal, I can still eat more calories, because the more muscles I have, the more calories I can eat, right?
Exactly. So, exactly. And then leave room, like those, the chocolate bars or the chips or the restaurant meals, like make those really special. It's like we're going every weekend all in, and they're eating like there's no tomorrow and drinking like there's no tomorrow every single weekend. But are those moments really worth it? Especially comparing to the phase that you're in right now. Because sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's just getting together with friends, like in your backyard or something, or at a regular bar. Like, how can you adapt that? Like, not every occasion is a super special occasion.
Exactly. Like, yes, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, whatever, but a random Saturday night with a friend that you're catching up with, do you really need like the 3 glasses or whatever many glasses of wine it is? Or could you opt for like a slimline tonic and, you know, drive home so you don't have to pay for a cab, save yourself some money while you're at it, you know? But like, I think just like touching on this, I did put it in the WhatsApp group last week. I think it's really important to bring your family and friends, you know, in the loop and just say, hey, I've got a goal and I want to achieve this goal, and setting boundaries with people and saying, I'm not going to drink this weekend, or we can go out for dinner, but I'm not going to have dessert, or whatever it is, you know, just setting a boundary straight up. And, you know, people that love you and care about you will support you. No one's going to be like, oh, you're boring, you're not drinking or whatever. And if they are, then get new friends.
If they are, maybe if they are, it's probably because they wanted to do the same thing as you, but they can't, so they want to bring you down to their level.
Exactly.
Especially getting initial results, and you start saying no to things and you start setting up boundaries. They start to see yourself, oh, okay, she's doing it. How can I do it? So they try to bring you to their level. They try to bring you to where you are, so they feel comfortable about it.
Absolutely.
But you have to have like you have to be bold about how you say it also. Because if you're like,
because
I don't know.
Oh, I want to drink, but I'm on a diet. And people are going to be like,
that's so wishy-washy.
Or they'll go, well, just have a gin and slimline tonic. And okay, fine, you have the gin and slimline tonic as opposed to gin and tonic, but you still had unnecessary calories. And then you probably had 3 or 4, and then you probably felt like shit the next day. And then you probably fell off the wagon and ate your junk food, you know? It's really big. So like, hey, I'm not
commitments with yourself. I like to make the decisions before I leave home, just like you did this weekend. Like, before you go to the thing, before you get together with friends, before you start your weekend, what are the boundaries that you want to set for yourself? If you want to have one drink, okay, I'm going to have one drink, and this is what I'm sticking to. This is my promise for myself. So whenever somebody offers you more or starts pushing, then you're like, no, I'm all good. But like, be firm with how you say it. You don't need to be a jerk, obviously. Nobody's
of course, like, stay away from me. But if you are, the thing is as well,
be bold and firm.
Because people also want you to have a good time.
If you're wishy-washy, it's not going to work.
If they're like, God, you're suffering here because you're not having a drink, they're going to be like, babe, have the drink, you know, like, you know, and they also want you to have fun. And if they think that you need to drink to have fun, they're going to think that you not drinking is you not having fun, like whatever. But, you know, if you say, like, you know, like you said beforehand, before you even arrive at the venue, before you even left the house, you just set the boundary and go, hey, I'm not drinking tonight, or hey, I know we're going out for dinner, but I'm just going to stick to one main course tonight. So don't ask to share starters or dessert with me. If you want to have that, that's fine, but I'm not going to do this, or whatever the thing is. But certainly like ahead of time, setting a boundary and sticking with it, not being all like, I really want to, but no, you don't want to.
Because they're gonna come back, come back and say, oh, but just live a little. Oh, but you're doing so good. Oh, just a tiny bit of slice of this, just a little bit of that.
That won't hurt. Well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that will hurt if you're doing that every weekend.
Exactly. And you know the commitment that you had just made to yourself, so you don't want to break that. So when you come prepared, it's easier to be bold in how you say it and be firm with your decisions, because then people won't even question. If you're firm about it, people won't even question and push you. But if you're then and you might get convinced, and you might be derailing your whole entire weekend. So
totally agree. Totally agree. Like, set your boundary. And if people are giving you a hard time about this,
Yeah.
then, you know, put it back on them to be like, why does this offend you? Like,
Yeah.
why is this upsetting you? Like I said that to someone this weekend because I was away, like I digress, but I was away with friends, and then their friends came to me, and all of their friends were like, why aren't you drinking? And I was like, I'm just not drinking. And
Yeah.
like, it was like the 10th
People
time
don't
somebody
care.
said to me, why are you not drinking? I was like, why does this upset you? How does this affect you? Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay not drinking. I'm sorry that it upsets you. And they're like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. And I'm like, now they feel like an asshole. And then people know not to push you. You know, people know like, oh, this girl's serious. This girl is like,
Yeah.
she's, you know, there's nothing wrong with like setting a boundary and saying,
Correct.
I'm not doing this, you know.
Yeah.
And for all they know, I could have not been drinking because I'm bloody pregnant, you know, or whatever, you know. But I was just like, oh, I'm just not drinking. I'm just not drinking, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
not, disclaimer, I'm not, but I'm not drinking because I want to do really well in the gym this week. And that's genuinely why I'm not drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think, yeah, just to wrap it up, I think making some sacrifices and compromises are part of each of the phases that you're in, right? If you
Yeah.
want to achieve a level of maturity when it comes to health and fitness, and you don't want to keep yo-yoing and just having this unhealthy relationship with everything and just never being able to get to your goals, you have to accept that sacrifices and compromises are necessary. I wouldn't even say sacrifices, I would say trade-offs, right? Because
Yeah.
when you choose one thing, you're saying no to another thing, right? So it's a trade-off, really. I'm trading, you know, I don't want to just feel the pleasure in the moment of eating that piece of chocolate or having that bag of chips. I want to feel good in the long term. So I will make that trade-off. I will make the trade-off of staying away from foods that I know makes me overeat, or I know it's not going to be supportive to my goals right now because I want this goal so much, because I want to feel good and I want to take over control of this. So there are trade-offs and compromises. And when you are in fat loss, those compromises and those trade-offs are going to, like, it needs to happen.
Absolutely, completely. Like you're at point A right now, but you want to get to point B. What are you prepared to do to get from here to here? Because you clearly can't do what you've been doing prior to this because it hasn't worked for you, which is why you've reached out for help and guidance and accountability and all these things. So that's why, because what you've been doing up until this point hasn't worked. And no, so, you know, you're at point A, you need to accept where you are. And that's, you know, accept where you are and accept where do you want to be. And there's this bit in the middle. And this bit in the middle is just working through and making, like you said, trade-offs. Is it forever? No. Is it going to get you to point B? Yeah. And then when we're at point B, then we can reassess and then we can start reintroducing certain things that you love, or whatever. But again, like it's not, fat loss is not forever. We don't live in fat loss through the rest of our lives. Do we take the skills that we learn and the growth of our mindsets and stuff from fat loss phase to like a body rebuild and a recomposition and other areas of our life, you know?
100%.
Yes, absolutely. Like if you think like, God, I could never give up chocolate. I could never give up chips. I could never give up French fries. And you give up French fries for 3 months. Do you not feel like a badass at the end of that? Do you not think, I did that?
At the end of that, you're not going to crave it as much. And you're going to have a better control over it. So you're not going to feel like eating it all the freaking time. It's going to be more special. It's going to taste more special because it is an occasional thing. And even when you're when you're in a build, then you already have that foundation in place. So things become easy.
Exactly. But yeah, I think like the trade-off, like what you said, it's like, okay, I can eat these chips. The trade-off is that I'm not going to have reached my calorie. I'm going to have gone over my calorie goal, and I haven't lost any weight this week, and now I'm going to feel rubbish because of this. So if we just make a different choice, we stick with our calorie goal. We hopefully lose some weight this week. We push through the workouts. We do all the other things that we're looking at for like compliance and adherence to your steps, your sleep, your stress, all those things. And that's going to be like, that's the trade-off that you mean, right? You just and it doesn't have to be so hard. You know, it shouldn't be that we're starving hungry and that we're refusing every single social interaction that we would normally do. There's going to be a change, yeah, but you need to make a change because whatever you've been doing prior to this hasn't worked. So
Yeah.
let's work with you. Let's make that change. Let's, start building a new life that you can be excited about, and you can get in your bikini, and you're not like conscious, and you've got a body that you absolutely love, and you want to take care of her, and you want to give her the fuel that she needs to do all the things that you want to do, whether it's being a mom, or whether it's going out and working and being an absolute boss bitch, or smashing PBs in the gym. That your body needs the nutrition to do this. So let's give it to her.
100%, 100%. And lastly, like, don't get fooled with social media. Not everything that you see on social media is going to be for you. Well, not everything you see on social media is the reality of the whole thing, right? It's like one tiny bit of what's real, and a lot of it is just posted for engagement. It's not really meant to help you, because they don't know you in particular, so not everything you see on social media is going to apply to you and to your case. So that's why you hired us, right, to help you identify what you need in this moment. And second, have clarity of your goals and the phase that you're in. You can't have it all at the same time, all at once, right? Just like we've been saying, phases of fat loss, maintenance, build, they all require a different lifestyle or a different mindset when it comes to food choices. But be prepared to tackle one thing at a time. Oh, I want to lose weight, but I also want to be flexible, but I also want to, have a healthy relationship with food. And I also want to eat everything I want and not give up the insane amount of drinking that I've been doing. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. You want everything at the same time. You're going to get what's the saying? When you chase two rabbits, you catch none.
Yeah, I know the one that you mean. Like
something like that.
Pick something, accept that there's going to be some trade-offs.
Yep.
And make these informed decisions, and make a commitment to yourself more than anything. Yeah. It's not forever. Like we spoke about this already. You're going to be a little bit hungry. Are you going to eat absolutely everything you want? No. Is it forever? Also, no. It's not forever. Like, think how long you've been alive for. Okay. Give us 3 months of adherence and compliance out of your whole life, and see how your life can transform.
Exactly. Especially because in our program, we teach you how to transition from phase to phase. So don't worry, like, you're not gonna crash diet. We're gonna help you transition through phases. So you have, at the end of the day, the healthy relationship with food, and you can still, you're gonna get there. But the beginning, we need you to focus on where you are. So lovely. Amazing.
Good chat.
Yeah. And if you guys are watching this, and if you have any questions, or if you have any insights, or if any light bulb moments from this conversation, just drop it in the WhatsApp chat as well for the other ladies to see it, and even share it on social media, tag us. And really love to have this discussion with you, Coach Jess. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love a good chat, me. Always open for a gossip.
Awesome.